Incorporated, both a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor, member SIPC. All the oxygen in the NBA this weekend was taken up by the debut of James Harden, which couldn't have gone any better. A little triple-double action for him in his first foray in Brooklyn. There's another guy that had a triple-double over the weekend, Luka Doncic, 36, 16, and 15. Let me just say that again. 36, 16, and 15, though it came in a loss. And this is when you know you've got yourself a superstar. After that stat line, Doncic, not happy.
That's on me. The second half, I played terrible. And I think that's on me that game. I shouldn't, I would say I was being selfish a little bit because, I had 30 points in the first half. And that wasn't me in the second half. I got to do way better than that. And that's just on me. I shouldn't be doing this.
Jay, I love that.
No, look, the real issue for this team is the health of Kristaps Porzingis, will he be the player that everybody expected him to be, that all-star caliber player? And Luka Doncic is going to have these type of performances. He's single-handedly going to have to take this team and drag them into the playoffs. But for them to go to another level, I think also for Doncic to actually have a chance to win MVP, he's going to need help from Porzingis in a massive way.
Indeed. Doncic with his 29th career triple-double last night. Back to the NFL, the Rams, Sean McVay. Everything's on the table. After Saturday's loss to the Packers, McVay said about his starting quarterback, Jared Goff, quote, "He's our quarterback right now." And then here's what McVay said yesterday.
What I'm evaluating is everything that we do, Kevin. That includes the quarterback position, but that includes everything. And so that's where we're at. And I think it's important for, I was kind of saying, to be able to take a step back, catch our breath, be able to look at everything that the season encompassed and figure out the best way to create the most competitive situations at all spots, and what we can do to continue to take steps in the right direction. And that's not exclusive to the quarterback, but it's all encompassing to our entire roster.
Before, Key, we talk about the Rams offense, specifically the relationship between McVay and Goff and what might come next. We should mention the Rams. Everything's on the table, so McVay's going to have to hire a new defensive coordinator. The Chargers hired Brandon Staley to be their next head coach. He was, this past season, the Rams' DC. Okay, so Saturday, he's our quarterback right now. 24 hours later, everything's on the table. What do we make of this?
I think everything was always on the table. He's our quarterback for right now. This game that we're getting ready to play, he's our quarterback. But it's always been on the table. These conversations were going on throughout the course of the season, I'm sure, in private settings between Les Snead as well as Sean McVay and whoever else gets involved in making up that roster, because I'm assuming that most of the guaranteed money on Jared Goff's extension has probably been absorbed by now. So there's some flexibility and leeway to get out of it at this point in time if they choose to do so. Or maybe they want to light a fire underneath them. I mean, it's amazing to see that a guy just led a team to a Super Bowl 2 years ago, and then all of a sudden now he may be possibly being looked at at being replaced. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen. Sean's got to look at everything along with Les Snead throughout the offseason to see what's available to them, not only at the quarterback position, but other positions that they need to take a look at.
Keith, when I look at Jared Goff, I see a guy that you said this multiple times, and we've been talking about this all year. You're waiting.
Mahomes was not going to figure out how to get on this field. I promise you, Patrick Mahomes will be taking snaps on Wednesday.
I would concur. It's time for Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Wednesday, of course, when they're back at practice. Looking forward to next Sunday and a trip perhaps to the Super Bowl for the second time in as many years. So Chad Henne had to come in, completed that 4th and inches pass that essentially ended the Browns season and made sure the Chiefs would get back to the conference championship game. They've now been there 3 years in a row. But just a reminder that the young people will go to Snapchat and Twitter. Henne is 35, so his social media analogy here a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, other than LinkedIn, I don't think hashtag Any Given Sunday or Any Given Possible is going to show up on LinkedIn.
So anything is possible. As you mentioned, Jay, in our first segment, that was actually something Mahomes tweeted after the game. And then going with the not often referenced LinkedIn.
I was going to say, not actually referring to TikTok or referring to Snapchat, but it's a little bit outdated. But I'll tell you that was more up to date, Zubin. Like, as Bill Rafter would say, how about the Onions by Andy Reid and company here and Eric Bieniemy? I mean, 3rd and 14, the fact that Chad Henne, you see, okay, there's a reason why he got those reps in that game against the Chargers 2 weeks ago. He goes for 3rd and 14, makes that incredible run, and then 4th and inches. I don't know about Key, but everybody I'm watching the game with talking to on social media and text chain, like we're all saying, okay, they're going to try to draw an offsides here. They're going to end up punting the ball, maybe taking the timeout when it's all said and done. For him to hike the ball in a shotgun situation and roll out and hit Tyreek Hill to close the game that way, what onions by Andy Reid. I love seeing that mentality. We're going to close out this game. We're not going to give Baker to Mayfield the ball with X amount of time left on the clock. If that's 2 minutes, whatever it is, a minute and a half, and not give the Browns a chance. We're going for it right here and there. That speaks volumes about how this team offensively thinks and how they believe, even in their backup quarterback. It's absurd to me, but I loved it yesterday. I loved it.
Well, 3rd and 14, that was all guts, right? I mean, it was just, I'm going to pull it down. Nobody's open. I'm going to take off and run. The sprint right option play on 4th and inches was, when they got in the gun, I didn't really think they were going to run the ball just based on them running. They don't necessarily run the ball out of the gun unless it's a draw play, and they're not going to run a draw on 4th and inches. They're going to put a fullback in, and they're going to pound it away with tight ends and all that. But once I saw the gun and I saw Tyreek Hill in a tight split like that, I said, they're getting ready to run sprint right option. It's a two-way go for him. If he's not open, then Henne's going to run and try and get the first down. He has a double option to do it. So I felt like, okay, they know that this is a situation they want to go out the way that they want to go out. I didn't find anything wrong with it. Andy Reid in the past has always done those sort of things, gone for it, whether it was in Philly or in Kansas City in those situations. Most of the time, they didn't get it until he found a guy like Patrick Mahomes. So I'm sure based on how he felt about the way that the team was playing defensively at that point in time, that if they didn't get it, the defense would have slowed Cleveland down.
And Key, I got to give the Browns a lot of credit. I mean, look, everybody said at the beginning of the game, if they had came out and had a lead with the way they run the ball, even though, I think they only ran for they didn't run well in the first half at all, barely can run the ball. Second half is when they got picked up. But still, for Baker, they had the ball pretty much the whole third quarter. For them to fight back into this game the way they played, Baker played extremely well. I think it's been a hell of a year for the Browns. Obviously, they would have loved to get the ball back with a minute and a half to see the opportunity to win the game. You felt like it was happening. Just at the end of the day, that play closed it out. But you got to give the Browns a lot of credit.
Well, there's no need for the Cleveland Browns and their fans to feel sad about yesterday where they were at. They won, right? I mean, the fact that they made it to the divisional round when the beginning of the season started off looking so slim to no hopes at all against the Baltimore Ravens, and then they actually wind up in the divisional round, one game away from the AFC Championship. They got the growth out of Baker Mayfield, so now that decision to move forward with Baker Mayfield makes it's a little bit easier to start that conversation with your staff. Is he the right guy at the quarterback spot? They get OBJ back next year. You know what you have in Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. You get Ward back healthy. You get Greedy Williams back healthy at the corner spot. So you start to build on what you put together this year and be happy with that. I mean, obviously you want more, but they won by just being there.
Statistical and anecdotal, to Key's point, their best young defensive player is in his mid-20s, Myles Garrett. They've locked him up. Their best young offensive player, Baker Mayfield, soon perhaps to be locked up. They have probably the NFL's head coach of the year, and this is a little silly, but we all get excited about this. Just wait until the NFL schedule comes out in the spring, and wait till you see how many times you're going to see the Browns on Sunday night and Monday Night Football. They are about to be must-see TV, and this year has really catapulted them to that position. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. On the way, one future Hall of Famer on his way to Green Bay. Another on the way to Canton. We'll dig into both of those legends after Jay has this from Straight Talk.
It's time for some Straight Talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot and 100 gigs of cloud storage.